Hi friends, and welcome back to my sewing room. Vlog 3. There's been a little bit of a delay since vlog 2 because work has been insane. So I'm really happy to be back and sharing my makes with you. So what have I been making? Thought I'd show you the finished granny square blanket first. Crafting has been a really important thing for me again this time. I know I said that in episode 1, but it is. It's such a sanity saver. Helps me relax, get out of my head and stressing about things that are happening at work and feel like I'm being productive but in a fun way. So this was maybe half done last time, maybe more, and it's all finished. The colours in this yarn are lovely. The yarn is Järbo Cookie. I think it's the candy colourway. It's used one 200-gram cake. It probably came out about 36 inches square, so a good size for a baby blanket. It's really pretty, and that will go in the box of goodies to be sent to a certain someone for their new baby later this year. On the sweater front, I actually made progress on this in the last 2 weeks. I was stalled on this for so long. I didn't know what I was going to do with those extra colours that I had bought of this yarn. It's Scheepjes Truly Scrumptious in Aran. It feels more like a bulky though, and it's 50% recycled polyester from plastic bottles and 50% acrylic. It's really soft and squishy and very warm. Just trying it on to see what the fit was like when I was just finishing the yoke. I nearly cooked in it. But I finally got as far as the bottom ribbing on the body, and I started on the pocket on the front. So here's where I started using one of the contrast colours. It's this lovely acai berry colour, and you pick up the stitches just above the ribbing, and then as you're knitting up, you're joining as you go on the sides. A little bit of a glitch possibly there, because as I was doing that I noticed that it was puffing out a little bit, because this is knitted in the round. My knit stitches in the round are lovely and even, there's no tension issues, but as soon as I start knitting backwards and forwards flat, my purl stitches are a little looser than my knit stitches, so it's bulging out ever so slightly, I think, at the edges, although I won't know for sure until I've finished it. But it probably isn't an issue because I'll probably be sticking my hands in it anyway and stretching it out even more. So far I'm a few inches up. I have finished the join part and I've started to decrease for the sides of the pocket, and then once you get to a certain height or width at the top, you attach it to the sweater. So I'm pleased with that. Just the sleeves to do afterwards, and then I'll probably figure out a way of incorporating the yellow shade as well. So I'm really happy that that seems to be on track, and I'll actually be able to wear it when the weather gets cool again, which I'm really looking forward to, because I'm not crazy about temperatures over 25 degrees. Even in this room, which is in our basement, it's probably 5 to 10 degrees cooler than upstairs, Celsius that is, and yet I'm still too warm. However, my husband did get a plumber to visit the other day, and we are getting a quote to get a new furnace and also maybe air conditioning. which is super exciting because we've never had air conditioning before, and with the summers just seemingly getting hotter, I think it's something we'll really appreciate, and we'll try not to rely on it too much. I'm sure everybody says that. I'm sure everyone who says that probably forgets all about it when the air conditioning actually arrives, and they probably switch it on for like 4 months of the year. But really, at the moment, there's maybe a few weeks, maybe a couple of months when we're really suffering in here, and you can't cool the house down, and it's hard to sleep, and you put the fans on, but they're loud, and it would be really nice to have air conditioning in future. So cross fingers, the estimate isn't too insanely high, and we can invest in that. All right, I've got a few things here that were hanging up at the fabric store where I work. Oh, bit of news about that. I won't be working there in a few weeks' time. I handed my notice in. Lots of different reasons there, but decided it was time to leave. And so from the 5th of August, I will be a free agent. I will be able to do even more sewing and knitting and crochet. I may find that I'll need the mental stimulation and the company of other people after a little bit of that free time, but I have a backup plan. I know exactly where I will want to apply and drop my resume in when I'm ready. It's a store that we've been shopping at for a really long time. It jibes with our values, and I can pick my hours, and I will definitely not choose to be in a management role. I want just something I can do. I can arrive in the morning, leave in the evening, and not stress about things when I'm not there. Because right now, I'm thinking about work 99% of the time. So I like to make things for display at work. It shows off the fabrics. It gives people inspiration as to what they can make. So one of the things I made was this hooded baby blanket. This side is a dimple chenille, and it has a little triangle fitted into the corner so that you can put it over the baby's head and then wrap them up. The other side is a really gorgeous quilting cotton. So this cotton is really popular with customers at work. I don't know if the design is from a specific place that you could find it in a quilt shop, because the store where I work puts their own names on things, so it's hard for me to refer you to anywhere to get some. But it is very popular, especially with First Nations people who love to make ribbon skirts and the like, because it has that sort of indigenous art look to it. Because inventory happened this week at work, we took down all of the hanging items that were on display, and this was one of them. The other things that I brought home, well, there was more than this because I really like making stuff. But one of the other things was this bag, which, as you can probably guess, I made for Easter. It's got bunnies and chicks on it and daffodils. Very springy. And it's lined with this green flower blender. I didn't put any pockets in it. It's just a big tote. And as I say, it was really just to show off the fabric. We stuffed it with a big pillow form at work to hang it up to make it look nice and full, and then hung it from the ceiling. And because I made it, I got to take it home when we took it off the ceiling. The other bag I made, because I am a bag lady, I love making bags, was this beach themed one. Now this one I love. That Easter one, I could give that away without a moment's thought. This one I want to keep. It's lovely. It has this flip-flops and flower theme main fabric. It has what looks like pastel wood grain on the pocket. Oh, I even put a loop there. I'd forgotten about that. You can hang your car keys off that when you go to the beach. And then natural webbing handles. And inside is more of the wood grain fabric. And then one pocket using the main fabric. So this is gorgeous. This one is all mine because I can't bear to give it away. So what's next? Okay, we'll talk about what's on Mabel after I've shown you my other sewn items. On to more sewing. I bought this fabric to make baby clothes recently. It has little turtles and whales and octopuses with snorkels. I think it's more rust than orange, but when I photograph it, it looks really orange. But this is so adorable. Baby clothes are just cute and easy to make. So this pattern is a Burda pattern. And I think I showed you last time a couple of the items that I had finished. I think I showed you this hat and the little pants. And so now this is a set of 3 items because I finished the short sleeve t-shirt. Very adorable. And I still had quite a bit of that fabric left. As usual, I bought more than I really needed. So once those guys were done, I made this. And this is a similar size hat with a little knot detail on the top. And I used a sweet red poppy pattern. I don't know if it's got a specific name to it. I think it's just called Knit Baby Hat. Baby knit hat. These are all my printed out pattern pieces. And it comes in 6 sizes. So I made the second size up, which was the 3 to 6 months. And it has these 2 little things that look like ears on top, and then you just knot them together when you made it. And that was super easy. And once again, I used that stitch on my machine. I've just got a computerized Janome. I don't have a serger. I don't know if you can see that. But it's the sort of stitch that does a straight stitch and a zigzag all in one, and it kind of looks like a serger stitch or an overlock stitch. And then of course I shared it on Instagram, which then shared automatically to Facebook because that's how I've got it set up. And my brother-in-law tagged my niece in it. Now, if my niece is watching this, you shouldn't be watching it, okay? Because you're not supposed to be seeing these till I send them to you. Bit late to say that, Nicola. Anyway, here it is. And I'm sure I'll be making a bunch more stuff for her before the baby arrives. Can't wait for that. That's one of the downsides of living so far away, because I don't know when I'll get to meet this baby. Maybe I should stay jobless until at least the baby's born and then pop over for a visit. That's a good idea. Why didn't I think of that before? Okay. So once again, we're back to this butterick pattern, 5432, and this is the third vlog in a row when I have made something from this pattern and shown it to you, because I have this really slinky black rayon spandex, and I made a tank top again. Woo! So yep, it's basically the same as this one. This is the first one I made from that pattern in this cute print. And so I made a black one because black goes with everything. I used to say I wasn't going to wear black because I was getting older and I didn't think it flattered an older face. But to heck with that, life's too short for that sort of nonsense. So here it is, I'll be wearing it. I don't care if it's black next to my face. So I'm happy with that, and I actually have enough of that to make either another one of these or a t-shirt. I'll probably make a t-shirt. So that's another project still in the pipeline, which I haven't got around to yet. So what else is new? One of the things that the store offers to staff is the opportunity to sew a garment every month if you want to, but I've never really completely taken advantage of that. But the last couple of months I did, and I decided I wanted to use some of the lovely linens or linen blends that were coming in for spring and summer and make something fun. Well, these pants, they are so comfortable. I had a pair of pants like this when I was in my 20s. The long ones in the sort of reddish fabric that you can see on there. This is Burda 6316. And when I saw those, I thought I've got to make them. Yeah, I know, I'm 60 now, I'm not 25 anymore. But so what? They look really comfortable and fun. And I made them anyway. The ones I made when I was 25 or so, I remember wearing them on a European holiday. We were living in the British Isles at the time, and it was easy just to pop over to France for holidays. We had a Citroën de Chevaux 2CV, a red and white one with the vinyl roof in red that rolled back so you could have a sunroof. And I still miss that car. Even though we moved almost 30 years ago, I still miss that car. We sold it because it would have just been too much hassle to ship, and also because I don't think it even had a catalytic converter. They discontinued them not long after we moved away. But boy, did I miss that car. And I have photographs somewhere in my archives of old photos of me wearing these pants just like this, which I sewed for myself. I was sewing clothes even then, but not as much as I am now. And they were in this lovely sort of rust leafy pattern with touches of purple and yellow, because I seem to remember I wore a purple sweater with it once. And I just adored them. Unfortunately, there was one time when I was riding my bicycle, not motorbike. I had a motorbike, but I was riding my bicycle and I tore the ankle fabric on the pedals or the chain. Oh, I was gutted. And I made another pair in a different fabric, but it just wasn't the same. So I thought, now, 35 years later, it's time to have some again. So this fabric is, I don't know, it's fun, but it's a little more conservative than that original fabric I own some in. It's a linen blend, rayon linen, I think. It's black with these lovely splashy flowers that make me think of dandelion seed heads, and cool and comfortable. and really huge. It's impossible for me to show you how big these go. But I actually did yoga in these the other day, and they allowed me a full range of movement. So that gives you an idea of how wide they go in the leg. The waist is interesting. It's made with lots of rows of a thin elastic zigzagged on to the inside of the waistband, and I thought, oh, okay, I don't know how that's going to go, but I'm going to try it anyway. And it was fine. It's just a little bulky at the back of the waist, where you can't really trim all the bulk away, because then you'd cut the little knots in the elastic that are holding them there. That's okay. You don't notice it when you're wearing it, and nobody can see it anyway, because, it's on the inside. So I'm really, really happy with these. I wore them all day. One day last week. Can't remember which day that was, but on my day off, I had them on all day, and I went to a restaurant for dinner in the evening and kept them on for that as well. And I wore my plain, solid white linen top that I had sewn, that I showed in vlog 2. And they went perfectly together. So, super chuffed. Don't know if that'll be a repeat performer, like a lot of my t-shirts and tanks. But fun to make at least once. And another one, which is even more out of my comfort zone, and I haven't actually worn it out in public yet, is this. It's McCall's 8204. And I made the long overalls, but I made them with the grommets so that you can take the straps over the shoulder and tie them in the grommets, or tie a knot once the strap is through the grommet. So the fabric for this is very fun, but as I say, a little bit out of my comfort zone, but I should just wear them anyway. Ooh, what do you think of that? Splashy flowers. Now the yellow tank top I made a little while back, go awesome under there, or the black one. So if you can see, that's where the strap goes through. It's just knotted and there's a grommet there. The knot might be a bit small. It might slip through. I might have to double knot it. And there were 3 pocket options with this pattern. You could have the traditional overall one right on the front of your chest. You could have back patch pockets, or you could have side seam pockets, so all 3 if you wanted to. So I was going to do the inseam pockets on the side. In fact, I sewed them in and I had it all done, except when I tried them on to figure out how much I had to hem from the bottom, I realized I'd sewn the pockets in the wrong place. So I put them way too low. I couldn't even reach to get my hands in them, they were so low. So in the end I just ripped them out and sewed up the seam and called it done. And I didn't bother with back patch pockets either, I didn't see the need. So the only one I have on here is the front chest pocket. Right here, it's kind of hard to see because it's such a busy pattern, but it's right there. So the length is perfect. That's what's nice about making your own clothes. You can make them fit just the way you want. And I will wear them. I will wear them. I just might have to gather a little bit of courage before I do. This is the pattern that I used for the Sashiko vest. I cut it out huge on purpose and then applied the fabric to the linen backing and then did lots of stitching on it. I'll show you in this inset video, and then we'll come back and I'll show you the finished result. Alright, what I have done now is I finished some of the edges that were still floating. So I added a few more bits of stitching. This is a bit lumpy, but it'll do. So there's no flapping pieces of fabric anymore. And I did that with the back and the two fronts, and then I put the pattern on them and cut them out. That's what the back looks like. So what I want to do next is line it. I was in two minds about lining, and I did consider doing the facing that the pattern includes. However, it would be nice to have all that messy stitching covered up on the back. Some of it looks alright, but there's a few tails there, and I think it would look nicer with the lining. I happen to have a rather nice piece of tie-dye cotton. It's thin, so it won't add a lot of bulk, and there's blue sections and white and pink sections, and I'll just let it land where it will. I'm just going to put the pieces onto that lining fabric, cut around it, and sew them together. I think that's what I'm going to do. Hope it works out. And I hope I want to wear this when it's done, because there's a lot of hours went into this. Okay, so here's Mabel the mannequin. She is sporting the finished result. Let me see if I can show this to you properly. So it's huge on her because she's skinny, unlike me. Now that the vest edges are all finished off, it's looking a lot better. The tie-dye fabric inside looks great. I think the stitching looks pretty good. Here is the vest, all finished. It's heavy. There's a lot of denim in there, shirt fabric. Inside here there's some linen, which I used as my backing for piecing everything onto and stitching everything onto, and then there's the lining. There's a lot of fabric in this. The stitching is different on each panel. There's one front. There's the other front. This is how I joined the shoulders in the end. I used regular sewing thread and then some basic stitching with more of the Sashiko thread. And this is the back. So I'm not sure if I'm going to wear this or not. I know there was a lot of work in it, and I was hopeful that I would enjoy wearing my wearable art when it was done. But I may just end up saying it was fun while I got to sew on it, but it may have to go somewhere else now that it's finished. I'm not interested in putting any more sewing on it. There are some areas which could probably benefit from more stitching, but I'm done with that. It's finished. It's a little slapdash, and I'm going to say goodbye. So one of the ideas I had when I first started this vlog was that I would be using stash more often. I've used a lot of new fabrics in some of my makes lately. The baby clothes, that black t-shirt, the linen blends for the overalls and those Harem pants, all new. And I have a lot of stash. A lot of the pieces are small and will require some creativity to make something fun and usable out of them in time. And with me leaving the fabric store, I will definitely be applying myself to using those stash pieces creatively in the future. I'm not sure how long I'm going to take off. I think, much as I love my crafts, there will come a time in the not too distant future when I'll probably be looking for another job, a part-time job, maybe 3 days a week. But for now, I think it would be really fun to pull random things out of the stash and make fun things too. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with them. Usually I tend to give them away as gifts. Because of the slapdashery mentioned in the YouTube name, sometimes I feel like my things aren't necessarily good enough to sell. Maybe that's just one of my hang-ups, I don't know. But I think at some point I may have acquired a big enough pile of FOs to consider selling them. But for now, I'm just going to carry on creating and having fun with it and see how it goes. So I hope you enjoyed episode 3, and I hope you'll come back and spend time with me in episode 4 and see what's next on the knitting, crocheting, sewing menu. So bye for now. Thanks for watching. I'll see you again soon. Bye.